Hey everybody, Jeremy here from the Archeryshack.
I'm TJ.
I think I started that weird, but
You did.
We're here at the Archershack Shop Talk. This is number 87, and thanks for joining us. Hit the old subscribe button if you hadn't already. We would greatly appreciate it. And if you have any questions, put them in the comments, and we will answer them. We got a big week coming up. This will be Tuesday when you hear this, or if you watch it the day it comes out. We got the Total Archer Challenge coming up in about 2 days.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to do a live feed from there and then do hopefully a full video if we don't get rained on a lot, and that'll be cool. So stay tuned sometime Thursday evening for us to go live from Tennessee. And then if you're new, we normally have a live feed on Thursday night on here, a podcast on Tuesday, and then we try to do a Sunday video about something else. So got a couple questions that came in. We'll start with Bob. After restringing my 60-pound bow, it's pulling 62 pounds. Is this normal?
Yeah, that's pretty normal.
Yeah.
We've seen it go either way. We've seen it actually, gain a pound or two, and we've actually seen them lose a pound or two.
That's where kind of the tuning comes in. Like, let's just say from the factory, for example, Prime on their stickers with these new bows, they put the exact poundage, and it's always 2 to 3 pounds heavy. And most other bows are the same way. They may not advertise it, but they are.
Yeah.
So I normally look for between 1 and 3 pounds over what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And that's pretty normal. But you can untwist the cable a few times and lose poundage, or you can twist it and gain poundage. It's up to you.
Yeah.
And cam rotation and all that. That's where all that comes in. I seen somebody else post on the Matthews group that they had restrung their bow, and I think it pretty much said, I put these strings and cables on, and my timing hole's not lining up. Oh my God. And they were blasting whoever made the strings. And I was thinking, that's where you got to know what the hell you're doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's never, rarely that you just put on a set of strings and cables and boom, it magically is perfect. You've got to tweak it a little bit. I don't care what bow it is. It's rarely just perfect from the get-go.
Yeah.
A twist or two, set cam lean, set this, set that. So that's where the whole figure out what you're doing thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably what makes me want to pull my hair out the most as far as us selling strings, is people will call with some of the stupidest stuff, and I just want to be like, take that thing to a shop. Anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, I'll just stop there. Disadvantages to a 4-inch Vane versus a 2-inch. Well, I mean, everybody used to shoot a 4-inch.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you put a heavy helical on it, you can have, there is a thing such as too much drag.
Yeah.
But it would take a lot of helical. So really there's no disadvantage. Most 4-inch vanes that I know of are a softer plastic than some of the 2 and 3s. But that's a whole nother story. But as far as performance, not a big deal.
Aren't they starting to make? I know a lot of the 3-inch vanes are starting to go to a low profile. I think a lot of 4s is starting to go that way too, to a lower profile vane.
Yeah, and that's trying to keep the drag.
Mm-hmm.
You shoot a 2-inch tall vane, or you shoot a 3 or 4-inch shorter vane, sort of the same drag or whatever. I'm not a physicist, but there's got to be a cool way to calculate that, and I'd be curious to know some differences.
Yeah.
If anybody watching is a rocket scientist. Our favorite nocks for Carbonaris. I like the gold tip AccuLite nocks. They're a little bit shorter, but they're built stout. You can get an extra foot or two per second, but you're not. I used to shoot the FS tuna nock, which is, if you're familiar with it, it's a little short nock that you get a few extra feet per second, but it don't have a long throat, so the slightest little tap and your air is on the ground.
Yeah.
The AccuLite's got a little bit of a throat on it, so it's not that bad.
Mm-hmm.
But they're shorter, they're stout. I've never had any trouble out of them. For a standard size era, I like those.
Yeah, I was gonna say I run those on my 3D airs, and then just pretty much just my standard nock on my hunting airs. I mean,
yeah. I
kind of want a little bit longer throat on it, just for that hunting situation. You get buck fever, you get excited, and I'd like to have just that little bit just in case kind of deal.
Yeah. What was our buddy's name from Florence that drove up here yesterday?
Oh man, I never forgot.
I'm sorry if you're watching.
Yeah, I'm sorry too.
But thank you for driving 3 or 4 hours up here to have us tune your bow.
Yeah, I'm glad we got that worked out.
It's crazy that people find us on here and drive. We've had people come from we're in South Carolina. They've came from Tennessee, freaking Florida, Georgia, North Carolina, all over the place. It's kind of wild, blows a mind blower. But
Yeah.
thank you for coming. He had a Athens bow with a weird tear thing going on, and it turned out I hadn't really encountered this in this way before. His rest was just barely hitting the top of his riser shelf. I mean, barely. And I did a bunch of rigmarole and got the cams perfectly timed and all the normal stuff. But anyway, it still wouldn't do right. So I throw a biscuit on it because that's sort of my, let's see if it's the rest, fix. And it bullet holds. So I'm like, it is the rest. So I put his rest back on, which was the HHA Virtus. It was timed right, the whole 9 yards. So finally, I'm like, it is just barely touching this thing. So I raised it up with a knocking point, bullet hole. So I guess it was, even though it wasn't even what I'd call fully touching the riser, I guess it was just hitting it enough to bounce back up.
Yeah.
And that was kind of crazy. It was I've seen them do that before that were really on it, but not just the way that was.
Yeah, that was weird. It's
add that to your notebooks if you tune bows. It's
yeah,
something to look at, because I was, after you get everything timed and squared up and all that, then it's like, all right, let's start eliminating stuff. And like I say, I put a biscuit on it because there's nothing that can move, and boom, bullet hole. All right, so we got a rest problem. And then it was crazy. But anyway, thank you for coming up here.
Yep.
I thought that was cool. I always think it's cool. People find us and drive further than I think they should to come see us, but
yeah,
I guess maybe that's a tale of all the archery stuff we see online, that these shops have real bad customer service. I don't know.
I don't know either.
Anyway, let's see here. I'm getting into archery, 41 years old, approximately 5'11". What poundage bow, max weight bow would you recommend I look into?
He didn't give us a price range, did he?
No, he's just wanting to know poundage.
Okay. I would, probably stick with somewhere around a 60-pound max bow. That way, it'll go down to 50.
Yeah.
Because we recommend to everybody that kind of starts out, start with a low poundage and build your way up to a higher poundage. But that'd be where I'd recommend is get you a 60-pound max bow, and, just think most bows nowadays are like 3 to 4 turns out. You just have to make sure how many turns you can take out of that bow. But most of them are 3, take your 3 turns out, and, you're going to be right there at 49, 50 pounds.
Yeah.
Either
that, or if you get a 70, just make sure it's one that you can take out like a lot of turns, like a PSE Stinger. Just throwing that out there, you can take but it's according to which exact model Stinger, but like 11 and 13 turns out.
Yeah.
So I'd say definitely get with a buddy or a shop or somebody that will help you, along the way, and they'll get you heading the right. But yeah, 50, 60, 70 pounds, any of that looks good.
Yeah.
Let's see here. What's a good beginner crossbow?
I mean, pretty much I guess everybody starts with like a Barnett or the
number one lately has been the Centerpoint Sniper 370 or a version of it.
Yeah, that's what I was fixing to say.
They're cheap. They're okay. I mean, they're pretty much any $200 to $300 crossbow is going to be made in China, even if you don't think it's made in China. It is, and that's one of them. Bear makes some good stuff. PSE, everybody, but like TJ said, look into some Barnett stuff. Look into the Centerpoint Sniper 370. The Bear Saga, the PSE Fang. Just Google some of those, and that'll get you on the right track.
Yep.
But to me, there's not like one that just completely sticks out. To me, if you're buying a $300 package, they're all kind of in the same playing field.
They are.
Do y'all shoot from the valley or the wall? I would like to say I shoot from the wall, but most of the time I'm just floating in the valley somewhere. I do feel like when I pull against the wall, I make a better shot, and I probably need to work on that. And I think most people are in the same boat I am. You just hit that let off, and you're just kind of there, but you're not aggressively pulling into the wall.
Yeah.
So I'm valley, but like, I mean, I'm not like at the edge of it taking off on me either. So I'm just right there in the middle of it.
Yeah, pretty much. I know on one of my bows that has the limb stops, I'm definitely shooting off the wall, but with a cable stop, I'm pretty much like you, just right there, you know, hit the back wall and just not really pulling into it and not really right there just wanting to take off with you. So,
yeah. We talked about that, I think, last week about, you know, your bow may, at the very minimum, be holding 6 or 7 pounds if you're checking on a scale at full let off, but I mean, you may not be at 6 or 7 pounds. You could be pulling hard and be 10, 12 pounds pulling into the wall. But let's see, this looks like a doozy. My cousin dry fired my bow, and a few shims blew out beside the cam and hit the, excuse me, and hit the wall. Where can I find shims? It is a new breed blade bow. Look on Archery Talk. I can't remember the guy's name, but he sells shim kits, and there's like a big kit and a little kit, but he will send you a ton of bags of shims, and you can match up exactly what you need. That's what I would do.
Yeah.
Unless you just if you got a local shop, you can probably just go say, hey, can I have a couple shims? But if I think the way I'm reading it, you're kind of working on your own stuff. Just get on Archery Talk, type in shim kit in the search bar. This guy will pop up because I need to reorder from him actually, but we've ordered a couple kits from him.
Yeah.
And they're pretty inexpensive. I mean, you can get them from Last Chance and all this, but you're going to pay a chunk of change.
Yeah.
And also check your axles, because if it did all that, it could have warped the axle.
Very possible.
Of course, check your limbs and all that stuff. Somebody wanted to tell us to tell them about the Hamsky primer. We've sold several now.
Yeah.
I've been happy with them. The only thing, and I understand they're making it a cheaper version, but I wish it had when you have to tighten the cord down. I love the Trinity because it's got that little tent cord thing, as we call it, and all you got to do is go whoop and tighten it up. With the older Hamskys and the primer, it's got the little football device, and you got to take a little Allen wrench, you know, say 5 or 10 cuss words, hope those little screws don't fall out of it, tighten it up, trying to, you know, so it's not that big a deal once you've already got it set, because you can just loosen it and slide it, but I have had them, I've took too many turns out and parts go everywhere. And
yeah, me too.
I end up in a big fit. Oh, I just hit your microphone.
But yeah, as far as the actual rest, I mean, it's still, they pretty much lightened it up, so it's not built like your Trinities or some of your older ones like the Versa Rest. So they took a lot of the metal out of it. It's still metal and lightened it up, but from, you know, the ones we've sold and set up and everything, they're still a jam up rest for the money.
Yeah, I would, if you're in the $130 range, definitely go with that. You know, if you're bumping up around 200, look at the Trinity. Somebody asked at these 3D shoots, most of them have mark yardage or not, or unknown, and do I need to bring my rangefinder?
Yeah, you need to bring your rangefinder because 9 times out of 10, unless it's like a R100, it's not going to be marked. But even at a R100, I still use my rangefinder since everybody's rangefinder's different.
Yeah.
But
in general, I remember, I think I talked to you on YouTube. Like, if you don't have a rangefinder, I absolutely guarantee you can show up and get in a group with somebody that'll have one. So, like, if you don't have one, you're fine without it. Just, you know, group up with something. When you get there, say, hey, I ain't got nobody to shoot with. You mind if I shoot with y'all? And make sure they're shooting a known class. But like TJ said, when you get more into the technical stuff of it, like, we set our bows exactly up for our rangefinders. And even though, like, mine and TJ's rangefinder's close, I noticed Sunday I was running that camera and just going off TJ's rangefinder, and I was running 1 yard off of what my normal, I was taking a yard off to hit where I wanted to hit. So there is a little variance, and we've shot with other people, and we've had as much as 3 or 4 yards. Yeah. You know, like TJ, he'll say 31, mine will say 31 and a half, and Billy Bob's will say like 34, 35, and it's like, that's a big difference.
Yeah,
you know,
it is. But yeah, and just if you do get in a group like this, the last shoot we was at, we had a guy that was shooting unknown with us.
Yeah.
So, you know, you got to be mindful not to.
Yeah, I don't think we mentioned that in the video, but if you've seen in that last video, TJ's kind of whispering to me or giving me
hand signals.
No, that was what I was planning to give to him, but I didn't have to because he didn't bust my air. That other fella did. But yeah, he was kind of whispering the yardage to me or whatever. So that, and the other guy wasn't shooting from the same stake, but he could have still been like, all right, they're shooting 40 yards. Mine's right there. That's 30. That's 5 yards. But
yeah,
we just kind of kept it on the DL.
Yeah.
Is a lens a good thing to have in my bow?
You can go if you're strictly like 3D and not, you know, it's nice to have one because, you know, you're not going to make out details on the target. It's just, it helps you see the spot you want to hit that you're aiming at. A big trend now we're seeing is, even me, I run a lens in my hunting scope. It's a low powered lens, but I still run one. And it has its pros and its cons. So it's one of those, you know, you can get on, what is it, Optics 3000?
300, I think.
Optics 300. They're like $50 shipped to your door. And, you know, just play with it.
Yeah.
You know, you're going to get in some situations where the sun's coming in, it's going to have a glare.
Yeah.
And that's the only really thing that sucks.
That's what I'm going to say. As far as the downsides of a lens, one would be if you're newer and real shaky, the more zoom you got, the more it's going to look like you're all over the place. Two, it sucks shooting if it's raining.
Mm-hmm.
The glare sucks. That's really about it.
Yeah.
If it's really, really, really humid and rainy, it can fog up, but that's pretty rare.
Yeah.
And you have the potential of needing a clarifier in your peep, which is a lens in your peep, if everything gets blurry. So I guess that's the bad part of it.
Yeah.
And then last thing I got, somebody had asked a couple podcasts ago, are there any archery shows that come to South Carolina?
The only one that I can think of right now is, what is it called? The Carolina Outdoor Classic down in Columbia at the State Fairgrounds.
Yeah.
That's the only one to my knowledge.
Yeah. And there used to be something that came to Charleston, but I'm not familiar with what it was or is.
There used to be one up here at our Civic Center in Anderson.
Yeah, and it's like I thought it did well.
I did too.
Then it went away. Then it came back for a year or two, and I don't know what they're doing. But yeah, there's really nothing big. I don't even know. Down toward Atlanta, they used to have a thing called Buckarama.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure. I hadn't looked in several years, but I'm not sure that it even still exists. I'll look while we're still talking, but I had went to it probably 20 years ago now, and it was a nice thing, but let me see here. It was down near a couple exits. Yeah, it does exist. It's at the Georgia National Fairgrounds and Agricultural Center. Buckarama, and that's on this side of Atlanta. August 13th through 15th. Okay, so we'll have to look into that.
Yeah.
But as far as South Carolina goes, I don't, other than that one in Columbia, I don't really know.
I don't either.
And it's not archery only. It's just a random hunting thing, and there'll be a few archery things there.
Yeah.
No, like, big archery companies are there.
No.
Probably just a local shop or two.
Yeah, I remember when I went that one year, they had it was mainly like almost like a boat show kind of deal.
Yeah.
And, you know, you had, what's the big store over in Rock Hill?
Oh, it's Southern Draw, I think.
Southern Draw, or is it Nicholas
store, yeah.
Yeah, they were there.
Yeah.
I think Southern Draw was there. But they had, you know, it's mainly just a mixture of mainly boats, fishing stuff, a little bit of archery stuff, a little bit of hunting stuff, but it's not nothing like you would think.
For you local people to us listening, we keep having a ton of people ask about us having a 3D shoot. Let me just say a quick word about the 3D shoot. We had a lot of folks that used to come shoot. And then whatever happened, and last year and even the year before, we'd take all this time, put all these targets out, bush hog, cut grass, get all this stuff ready, and then only have a few people show up. What, if you're local, what's the best time? Like, let me go back into more stuff. We used to do some regular shoots that would be like on a Saturday, and then some shoots on Sunday that would be more of like a team shoot, random draw. What's the best day, time, all that stuff? Because and this is the same way it was last year. We had a ton of people. When y'all going to have a shoot? When y'all going to have a shoot? Well, then we have a shoot, and like 10 people show up, and it's like, I don't mean to sound bad saying this, but it's just the honest truth. The time it takes us to go out there and get all this ready, it's a lot, like, off the chart more profitable for us to be in here working on bows and bowstrings that would take that same amount of time. But I guess what I'm asking is a Saturday the best day? Is a Sunday the best day? Is a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, have it the whole freaking weekend? What's the best option, I guess? Do you rather do a team shoot, individual shoot? Do you like, well, we tried unknown distance. Nobody likes unknown distance.
Yeah,
that's
that
an
was
easy
out.
one. But what's the best scenario? And, we got some people that have said, what if y'all just put them out and people could come during the week and shoot? I'd be fine with that, except then you get into the, like, if somebody wants to shoot by themselves, it's like, it'd be easy to cheat if there's money involved, and you get into all that weird stuff. And we're just trying to figure out, we've got 50 targets, and we've got the room to do it, but we're trying to figure out what's the best day and time, and on our end, and again, I don't mean this to sound bad, but the least amount of effort. If it was going to be a whole weekend shoot, it's really hard to just have one person sitting up there waiting on people to show up when they could be back here working on bows or making strings or doing whatever. So I don't know. I'm just trying to come up with the best scenario for us to get people shooting, but not put a week's worth of time into it trying to get it ready, I guess is the way to put it.
Yeah.
And we've had all kind of suggestions, put out 10 targets and do this and that kind of shoot, leave them out the whole week, do, whatever. But when we were doing the team shoots, it'd be a Sunday afternoon, which I feel like is a pretty laid back time. Everybody's out of church and everybody's usually at home not doing a whole lot. We'd let everybody show up, put everybody's name into a pot, random draw 2-man teams, and then do captain's choice. So if me and TJ shot together, he shot a 12, I shot a 10, we'd count the 12. And the reason I feel like it worked well was because even if you get a more novice shooter, usually the other guy will help, but even the novice guy is going to hit some good numbers at some point, and at the end of the whole thing, the scores would be really, really, really close.
Yeah.
And I feel like that worked the best. But then you got people that are like, I don't want to shoot no money shoot, team shoot. I don't want to do individual. So it's never going to please everybody. I realize that, but
Yeah.
I'm just trying to, if we do any more shoots, make sure we don't have 5 or 10 people show up and be like, my Lord. Because like the past 2, we had such a low turnout. I was like, I'm not even concerned about doing another one. But like I say, it sucks because we got 50 plus good 3D targets that we could do them with, and we've still got our lanes cleared off and all that stuff. But I'm just trying to figure out what the key is to get everybody back going. I know another local guy had a shoot and was like, I don't think I'm going to do this again because nobody hardly showed up. So I don't know. I don't know if archery in general is just people don't want to fool with it right now or what, which is fine. Because, we're fine not doing them, but there's so many people that come in here and are like, when y'all having to shoot, when y'all having to shoot, when y'all having to shoot. So
Yeah.
just throwing it out there.
Yeah, it's really tough because, people shot our little shoots before, and, they like coming out here and shooting our shoot for some reason. And, we're just, and which, most people, and we try not to schedule them like on the same weekend as a local club.
Yeah. Or like a big Clemson game or whatever, but it's interesting to say the least.
Yeah.
What else? I can't wait to get this tack stuff rolling. Like I say, we'll be live Thursday from probably our hotel room or something like that. And then if you're coming to the Southeastern Tack, we're just shooting Friday. But if you see us, holler at us.
Yep.
Trying to do a video. The weather's kind of up in the air. 1 minute it says it's gonna rain, one it's not. Now it's saying maybe. So either way, as long as it's not a complete downpour, we should be able to get a video together.
Yeah.
And that'll be cool. And then y'all have probably already seen our video about our bow setups. You hadn't, look on the channel. We did a little video of our setups just for this tack event. And really, that's about it.
Yeah, nothing too exciting in the shop this past week, I don't believe.
Yeah. And then after tack, I guess we can kind of play with some local 3D stuff again. And then back to the 3D thing, if you're local, about an hour away at Bobby Brown State Park, they've got a real nice 3D course that they just leave out, and it's like $10 to shoot.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a couple years, but we have just put out a big social media blast and say, hey, we're going down here at 5 or 6 o'clock to shoot. Meet us there if you want to, or if you don't, that's fine too. And I know one time we had like 30-something people show up down there, and we had a big impromptu shoot thing, and that's fine too.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost better because, well, I feel like I'm sounding bad, but when we have it here, we've got to worry about all this stuff and rarely get to shoot. But like, if we just go down there, then we can meet everybody and shoot too and have a good time. So I'd be open to that. I need to check Victoria Bryant because, it's been about 2 years since I've been there, but their targets were so shot up.
Yeah, somebody went through with broadheads.
Yep. And but it may be back good now. It'd be something worth looking into. If anybody's in Georgia and has shot Victoria Bryant State Park, let us know if the targets are better.
Yeah.
I remember that number one target was a moose. And last time I was there, I could literally stick my entire arm through the core of that thing. That's how big of a hole. People just went down there and blasted them with broadheads and tore them all to pieces.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's where the the ranger people are going to have to keep a check and be like, hey, you're out shooting broadheads, just ride through or something. But
yeah.
Anyway. Well, we'll get off here. Y'all check us out when we go live for the tack, and let us know if there's anything you want to see or hear about, and we'll do it.
Yep.
As long as it don't, I don't want to have to get naked again.
Yeah, that
was weird.
Yeah, it was.
But we'll see y'all next time. Y'all be safe out there.
Yep. See y'all.